I think there will be a sort of quiet panic in Number 10 this morning, at the mercy of events rather more than they would like once again. The main issue for this part of the morning, I think, is how the Prime Minister handles the Cabinet meeting later on, where there is a pretty ginormous split in how the Cabinet thinks the Prime Minister should handle the coming days when this vote is defeated. So handling that Cabinet meeting is going to be quite important, bringing those two sides together, giving them a sense of where this is heading without possibly telling them exactly what the Prime Minister wants to do, given that the Cabinet tends to leak a fair amount. So that's the first issue for them. And then it will be what she says after this deal is voted down to give Parliament a sense of the direction, to give the country a sense of the direction that the Prime Minister wants to go in. And whilst it's almost impossible to say precisely what will happen, nobody really knows, I can't help but think we might get the idea coming forward that the Prime Minister is going to go back to Europe, trying to seek more concessions, depending on the scale of the defeat, to maybe bring this deal back before Parliament, given this is the only option.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because there are reports of an RAF plane ready and waiting to take her off to Brussels for those sorts of discussions. Let's look at what you were talking about there, how Theresa May might immediately handle that defeat. In normal times, if she does get defeated by, let's say, 150 votes, 200 votes, that would normally come with a resignation from the Prime Minister. But of course, these are not normal times, and Theresa May has shown herself to be extremely resilient to calls for her resignation. Do you think she could still govern with her majority in Parliament chipped away even more?
Do you know, I was just thinking how much I miss normal times. I think it's incredibly difficult. I mean, look, the DUP decided a while ago not to help provide confidence in supply to the government. So it's been a minority government for a little while. If Parliament really wants to take back control of this process and move it away from the executive, then we are entering political and constitutional turmoil. And I find the thing that is most depressing this morning, frankly, and I do feel quite depressed about this, normally being someone of relatively sunny disposition, is that parliamentarians are taking a choice to push this country into political and constitutional crisis, rather than accepting a totally imperfect, slightly difficult to deal with deal that nevertheless takes us out of the European Union and gives us the certainty of where we're going to go. And I do wonder whether a lot of MPs have a sense of what's going to come now and what message this sends out to millions of people who voted in the referendum about where this country's heading, because the chances of there being no Brexit whatsoever only increase if this deal is defeated.